Mishna Bet, second Mishnah. We were discussing this just before we came in. So let's look now. Chamor yotze b'marda'at. A donkey goes out with a marda'at. Right, now what's a marda'at? Michse shenotnim al gabav. It's a covering you put on his back. Lechimum gufo, to warm him up. Donkeys suffer from the cold. Not horses, not those, specifically donkeys, something within genetics. They suffer from the cold. Therefore, the donkeys are allowed to go out with a blanket upon themselves. Because the blanket, it's true that you use it many times, this blanket, as a saddle. But the main use, even if you wouldn't use it as a saddle, you would put it on the donkey because he's suffering from the cold. It says a donkey suffers from the cold even in the middle of the summer. Even in Tammuz. That's what it says.
Why is it?
It's the genetics. Genetics, yeah. Whatever the donkey is made of.
We become when we get old.
Genetic.
Like a donkey. Yeah? Bezman, as long שהיא קשורה לו. And this is important. You cannot just put the blanket on top of him and let him run around. Yeah, it has to be tied to him. שאם אינה קשורה לו, why? What's the problem if it's not really tied down? What's the problem? חוששים שמא תיפול מעליו. You're afraid maybe this blanket is going to fall off from the donkey. ובעל החמור יגביה אותה, and the owner of the donkey is going to lift it up, ויטלטלנה 4 אמות ברשות הרבים, and it's going to take 4 אמות in the public domain. בגמרא מבואר, in the Gemara it explains, שכוונת משנתנו היא, our Mishnah means, בזמן שהיא קשורה לחמור מערב שבת. It says you have to make sure you tie it to the donkey Friday. שכך גילה דעתו, over now, when you tie it on a Friday, what did you show? שהחמור זקוק למרדעת לשם חימום. You show that you're doing it because of warming, not because of you want to, for another use. ואינה נחשבת כמסע, it's not considered like carrying. ברם לקשור מרדעת על החמור בשבת, but obviously to tie this blanket on the donkey on Shabbat, אסור. It is forbidden. לפי says, why is that forbidden? We're not going to tie it like you tie it like shoelaces. What's the problem? You can tie it like shoelaces. לפי שאי אפשר לקשרה לו, because it is impossible to tie the donkey down with this kind of blanket, אלא אם כן נשען על החמור. In order to tie, you will need to lean on the donkey. And you're not allowed to use the donkey. It's the way the tying is. Yeah, the way you tie it, you need to be in a position that you lean on a donkey. ואסור להשתמש בבעל חיים בשבת. You're not allowed to use the animal on Shabbat. ואם עבר וקשר, and let's say you did tie the donkey on Shabbat, אסור לצאת בו. You're not allowed to take the donkey out on Shabbat because it was done prohibitively. Oh, now this is going to be maybe the only one who, maybe a little bit, Ari also will know, but Moshe is our only chance over here. Zecharim, we're talking about sheep now. Male sheeps. Male bear, yeah? So it says, Zecharim, Hainu Ailim, rams, Yotzim Levuvim. They're allowed to go out on Shabbat, Lavuv. Now, what's Lavuv? באור שקושרים להם תחת עבר זכרותם, you put a piece of hide under the private parts. Why? כדי שלא יעלו על הנקבות, because you don't want them to impregnate the females. You ever seen such a thing? No? So even Moshe never seen it, even though he lived in a farm. Okay? But you actually put it underneath, because you want just the specific male to go on it, not this male because you're doing a special whatever. Rechel, and rechelot, the female ones, yotzot shchuzot, are allowed to go out on Shabbat, shchuzot. What shchuzot? כשהעלייה שלהם קשורה למעלה. When the tail, you tie it on top. Why? כדי שיעלו עליהם זכרים. Because you're interested on those specific ones to get pregnant. And they're also allowed to go out גבולות. What's גבולות? כשהעלייה שלהן קשורה למטה. When the tail is tied on the bottom. So that they wouldn't be able to get impregnated. כדי שלא יעלו עליהם הזכרים. And also, וכבונות. What's כבונות? מעוטפות בכסות. You put on them like mesh, like shipping nets. Like a shipping net that will keep the wool close to the body so it doesn't get dirty. Yeah? כסות כדי לשמור על צמרם. It's like a kind of material to make sure that the wool remains not dirty. שהוא רך ולבן שלא יתלכלך. That it's not going to become dirty. Finish with the sheep and the rams. Continue. All the things you're allowed to do, it's for the sake of the animal. העזים יוצאות צרורות. The goats, they go out צרורות. What צרורות? כשדדיהם קשורים בכיסים. When you put on their nipples, you put caps. Yeah, you put caps on. You've seen? I have no idea what all these things looks like. You saw it? Yeah? I have no idea. For me, it's all theory. Yeah? They have special caps on the nipples. Why do they do this? So let's see. פעמים, sometimes they do this. כדי לייבש את החלב. Sometimes they put it on very tight because you don't want them to give milk anymore. שמהדקים אותם בחוזק. That you make it very tight. ופעמים and sometimes כדי לשמור על חלבן. שלא יטפטף לארץ. And sometimes because you want to retain the milk in the cups so that it's not going to go on the land. שהכיסים רפואיים עליהם. And then it's not tight. It's regular. רבי יוסי אומר, רבי יוסי says, בכולן.
אוסר, לא אומר.
רבי יוסי אוסר. אחר זה אומר.
כן.
רבי יוסי אוסר, רבי יוסי prohibits בכולן, in all of them that we said before. So all the things that we said before, it says,
שהם בבית, אל תיקח.
forbidden.
Don't take it.
In other words, it's not for the sake of the animal, it's for your sake. That's what he's saying. It's not for the animal's sake, it's for your sake. I like Rabbi Yossi. חוץ מהרחלים הכבונות. It says, except when you guard the material, the wool itself. It says, because the wool is the animal, you're guarding the animal from getting dirty. That's what it says. I can kind of understand. It's not for you. It's for the animal. You don't want the animal to get dirty. שעטיפתן השומרות על צמרם כתכשיט הוא להן. It says it's like an ornament. You're keeping it clean. רבי יהודה אומר, רבי יהודה says, העזים יוצאות צרורות ליבש. Rabbi Yehuda says, I agree with everything except with the goats. The goats, there's two types of material you will put on the others. So the material that is going to be tight, maybe I'll allow, but the material that's not going to be tight, I'm not going to allow. And let's look at his logic. Rabbi Yehuda says, העזים יוצאות צרורות ליבש. The goats go out with tight stuff on their udders in order to make them dry. עם צרורות הן כדי לייבש את החלב שבדדיהם. Why? הואיל והכיסים מודקים יפה, because I know for sure you made it very tight and I know for sure it's not going to fall because it's tight over there. מותר לצאת בהם בשבת. Then I will allow you to go out on Shabbat. But the other ones, where they're not tight, that's going to be a problem. אבל לא לחלב, but not for milk, that you want it to drip into the cups. אבל אם הם צרורות כדי לשמור על חלבן, but if you tie them in order to protect the milk, אסור להם לצאת בשבת. I will not allow you to go out on it on Shabbat. שהואיל, because Hakisim refu'im, since those cups are not tight, חוששים שמא יפלו, they might fall down, ושומר העזים יגביהם ויטלטלם ברשות הרבים. And then the person might put them back, and then he's going to carry them for amot in the public domain, and that is not allowed.